This video is brought to you by Skillshare. Maneater is unquestionably the game of the year. The real question is it the game of the generation or perhaps the best game ever made? The answer to all of these questions is yes. Maneater is the most intimate and emotionally confronting game I've ever played. You play as a shark whose parent is brutally murdered by someone seeking revenge because their father was killed by a shark. It's a gut-wrenching premise predicated on the sins of the father and the cycle of vengeance these sins beget, one that no other game before it has explored. Also, someone gets their fingers bitten off, and it's a genuine shame that these fingers are attached to a hand and that the hand is attached to an arm. With a stomach full of digits, Baby Shark is loosed on the murky bayou where he can begin his journey to full-grown manhood, and it's here you get to grips with Maneater's combat, exploration, and progression. Maneater's combat isn't particularly new or innovative, but it is an extremely polished version of the shark-based combat we've seen thousands of times before in the oversaturated SharkPG genre. Attacks are initiated with the right trigger, which will bite the nearest target. There's also a combo system in place that involves repeatedly pressing the same button over and over again, so fans of the DBZ fighter series should feel right at home here. There's an additional move available in the form of a tail whip, but the good news is that it's so useless that you never need to worry about it. There's also a lock-on system you can utilize to keep you focused on a target until that target moves off screen. Some have suggested that the very point of a targeting system is to keep track of enemies when they move off screen, but these people probably play Monster Hunter World with lock-on camera and they should be ignored. Maneater's streamlined combat is less about mechanical complexity and more about grueling grudge matches with other aquatic life forms. Sure, the bayou is freshwater and completely uninhabitable for a real shark, but you're some sort of mutant super shark, meaning that when it's time to throw down with alligators, you've got no problems. But they didn't call this game Alligator Eater, did they? No, they called it Maneater, and that's exactly what you do. Dismantle the patriarchy, one limb at a time. Maneater offers one of the most chilling renditions of violence you've seen in a video game. Firstly, animations are top-notch, with a realism and fluidity to every movement that few games are able to match. Then there's the enemy AI, who are so intelligent that it is always a legitimate challenge to confront them. In Maneater, every kill is hard fought and hard won. You may have noticed that your mutant shark is capable of leaving the water and attacking landlubbers. This is an important mechanic because it also opens up new and never before seen gameplay paths in a shark game: platforming. It might seem ridiculous to hop out of the water and explore vast tracts of land one awkward flop at a time, but wouldn't it be more ridiculous if you were, say, walking upright like one of these street sharks? I mean, these sharks have legs and wear rollerblades. That's ridiculous. In contrast, Maneater is objectively the most realistic shark simulation game ever made. There are some out there who would argue that Maneater is a grindy, repetitive adventure where you complete identical tasks over and over again, checking off map markers in a dated Ubisoft-style formula. These people are correct, but did you know that there's a Subnautica shout-out in this game? For as much as Maneater is an emotionally wrought revenge plot, it's also a game about exploring a beautiful world. Cyberpunk-inspired skylines, Cyberpunk-inspired grottos, The Last of Us 2-inspired golf courses, and an area that looks suspiciously like Isle Delfino from Mario Sunshine. But if all this exploration doesn't float your boat, there's a meaty progression path for you to follow. Eating things and blowing up boats nets you resources you can spend on upgrades like electric teeth or a full set of bone armor, so you can become some sort of terrifying necro shark. The bones don't really do much, but they do look pretty cool. Combat, exploration, fighting sperm whales, all of this is backdrop to the revenge plot, and I'm pleased to say that the game has one of the most thought-provoking endings I've ever experienced in a video game. See, the shark kills hundreds or thousands of people in his quest for vengeance, and when he finally catches up with Scaly Pete and he has him at his mercy, he pulls back. He realizes that the cycle of violence profits them nothing, and that it won't bring back the parent he's lost. And in that moment, Scaly Pete blows them both the fuck up. Credits roll. I cried for days after this. It just stays with you. Critics have been asking when video games will grow up for years. The real question is, when will films catch up with video games like Maneater? If you're finding yourself with a little bit of free time on your hands these days, you might want to check out Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes for creative and curious people on topics including illustration, design, photography, video, freelancing, and more. On Skillshare, millions of members come together to find inspiration and take the next step in their creative journey. There are dozens upon dozens of courses for you to explore, meaning that you can find the right one that works for you. Right now, I'm learning about color correction when editing in Adobe Premiere Pro, and I'm starting out with this short introductory course just to learn the basics, but then I'll move on to this longer, more detailed course for a deeper dive. Skillshare's courses are put together by experts in their fields, and taking part in them allows you to connect with those creators and other students. You get to build a community around the thing you're passionate about, supercharging your ambition and creativity. To get started, click the link in the description below, and as an added bonus, the first 1,000 people that click get 2 months of Skillshare Premium for free. Thanks Skillshare for sponsoring the video, and thank you for watching it.